Hello, everybody. Thank you for sticking around after Table Takes and joining us for New Release Rundown. This week, we are joined by Amanda from Blue Highway Games. Before we dive into the games that you've brought this week, is there anything you want to say about yourself or about the store?
It's a pretty quiet time of year, though the store keeps busy with events and things, and we're seeing maybe not as many new releases coming out right now, but hopefully I brought some good stuff for you from the shop.
You brought some stuff that I had not recognized, so that counts as new.
Oh, good. Excellent.
Great. So let's dive in. I believe you wanted to start with Moonbase, right?
Yeah, let's start with that.
Okay, so we're going to start with Moonbase, but I believe there's going to be a poll in chat about what other game people want to cover. It sounds like somebody in chat, Sour Beers, is excited about Ticket to Ride.
Yeah.
But Moonbase, I had a chance to play this, I think, last year at Gen Con.
Yep.
After the show.
Yep.
And it was a very pretty game.
Yeah.
So why don't you tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. So we also have had one in our library, actually, since Gen Con last year, but we've been waiting to import it from Japan, so we just got a shipment in with this and another one I'll talk about in a bit. But Moonbase is a game for 2 players on this lovely moon board with probably my favorite start player marker feature, which makes it look like the little blue dot Earth. And you pass that back and forth, depending on whose turn will go first. And there are 3 colored rings. Silver and gold belong to either one of you. You choose at the start, and the blue is neutral. And you are trying to get your color rings on top of other rings. You get points for having them higher up. You get points when you can put the Coloma ring, which is your color, as the 3rd color in all 3, so you can add some of your settlements to those, which I don't have a good example here, but well, if you can do it, like that, and you'll get some points for that as well. There's some little ones that you get for kind of pity points if you're unable to place any of your settlements, and the little remote mobile tower or something moves around the board. Also, if you end up with it at the end of the game, it's worth 3 points. I just was very charmed by this little 2-player game.
It's very pretty.
Yeah.
It's very simple,
Yep.
like elegant, pretty.
Yep.
I almost would call it dignified, but then in practice, you're going to end up swearing at your opponent when they take the spot that you wanted.
Yes. And it has a slight element of dexterity, maybe a little less even than Tokyo Highway did, which is their other really big hit from a couple years ago. And you are balancing, so you do need to have some sort of steady hand while you're playing, but it's not like Jenga or something. It's not. The aim is not to have it knock down on your opponent.
But I really, this is also one of those games, like I think there's almost a sub-genre maybe, or a theme of games where you're building something, and like the turn to turn is pretty straightforward, but what you end up with at the end, I'd hesitate to call art, but is certainly very beautiful. Like there's a very like pretty, like calming kind of feeling to it. Even if you're just rushing to kind of colonize the moon. Yeah. Because I think that I was building condos while my opponent was building science bases or something like that.
Okay.
We were reading into it perhaps, but
yes.
What we ended up with was very, very pretty.
Yeah, by the end it can be, like this tall. This is sort of would just be the base, and it's, it's abstract strategy, fairly balanced, very little luck, which is, I know a lot of people come in looking for that, especially in 2-player games, so the maybe chess fans or the Go fans that also want a little more modern take to some of their games, and you get a little moon theme.
Yeah, so you were saying that this is an import that you've done, because I don't think this is widely available in the U.S. yet.
Not widely available. I imagine other places. I know we're not the only store that does imports from them, because they were familiar with the process, but
so I was about to say, like, if somebody sees this and they want to get it, they can go to their local store and ask them to order Moonbase from
Itten.
Yeah.
They did Tokyo Highway was their biggest hit, which is now from Asmodee, but originally it came from them, which is how we originally figured out how to order from them direct, because we wanted Tokyo Highway. But Yeah, no, they've been great, and I think they make some really good quality components. Yeah, it's nice.
So for fans of Tokyo Highway, for fans of kind of elegant, beautiful games,
two-player
abstract strategy, low randomness.
Yep.
Spite. Where would you put it on our spite scale?
You can
Hard to say.
place rings in such a way it makes it very difficult for your opponent to place, because you're not allowed to like slide a ring underneath another ring, or you have to balance it correctly, but you can get pretty close to the limit on how that's allowed to balance.
Yeah,
so, but not spiteful.
Yeah, I tried. I think I tried to play it spiteful, because I think like when I'm learning a new game, I'm like, I'm not going to win, so I'm just going to try to ruin your plans.
Sure.
And see if I can impede you on your way to victory.
Sure.
And I think I found that there was some like strategic placement.
Okay.
So not a ton, but kind of like what you get in a lot of abstract strategy games.
Yeah.
Where there's not like a betrayal, there's not a twist or a trap,
no.
but there's definitely like, haha, I know you're going there,
Yes.
so I'm going to try to block you from doing that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like it.
What won our Ticket to Ride?
Yay! This is the newest expansion for Ticket to Ride. It is Ticket to Ride Japan and Italy. The board is huge. I think they're both long. We were trying to figure this out. But like Italy is long, Japan is long. The board is really big. I don't know if you want to pull it all out, but
they just called it like Ticket to Ride Long Countries.
long skinny countries. Chile, maybe they should have done that. I don't know. How many trains are in Chile? But yeah.
All right, so that's the
Italy.
I'm not looking at the Japan map.
Yeah.
I think is the key thing.
You are. It's upside down. But we could.
See,
yeah.
I know. Well,
yeah.
So now there's the Italy map. Yeah.
There we go. Look at that. We're just both behind this board that you're going to look at now.
Okay, so this board is fairly bigger than the normal Ticket to Ride.
Yeah, it's even bigger. It's not. I don't think it's as big even as Sails to Rails or whatever that big board is, but it might be that size. I'll start with the Japan map because it's kind of the neatest change, and you're pulling out the little bullet train cars. Look at that! It's a bullet train. Much in the spirit of the, I guess, lovely Japanese society, you're actually cooperating on building these bullet trains across the country.
So the Japanese rules are fully co-op?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
I was excited for my wife for a moment.
Nope.
Okay.
You're still trying to get points.
Hope's dashed.
But like in Lowlands, if you ever played that, where you're all building the dam to stop the water, you all want to work on the bullet trains, but whoever works on it more is happier.
Okay.
They're going to get points. So
Okay.
you are all working toward a common goal, but you score well if you work on it. With it, you're kind of, instead of choosing the route, instead of placing your trains, you're going to end up placing the bullet train, which will advance it across the board. So it will not belong to you when you're fulfilling your ticket cards. You can use the bullet trains to help you fulfill your routes. They're considered connected, so which is kind of neat. And two cities, Kokura and Tokyo, are also pulled out in a little metro map. So you can, when you have connected out here on this part, the bigger map, to those cities, they will be considered connected to anything within those little subway systems of Tokyo there.
Cool.
Which is kind of neat. So you can branch out from that in those little mini maps.
Somebody in chat was just mentioning that they don't think they have space on their apartment table to play this. And it suddenly occurred to me, like, why don't they release like the magnetic wall version of some of these games?
Whoa!
See?
Just put it up there and just kind of hold on to that magnetic thought. I may have a magnetic game piece today. Not a whole wall map, though.
Okay.
And the Italy side, you're trying to connect to as many different regions as possible. So that's really the main difference on that side.
Cool.
The biggest one is these little bullet trains, which are so cute.
So, naturally, if you are a person who loves Ticket to Ride, then this seems like you would already be aware of this, you're good to go.
Yes, and I always tell myself I don't need another Ticket to Ride expansion.
But you do, don't you?
I do, because I have a lot of non-gaming friends, and they, like my mom, and she likes Ticket to Ride, so.
Yeah, my solution was
good
to
one.
get the Ticket to Ride Anniversary Edition,
Oh, okay.
just because it's so gorgeous. So that's my kind of Ticket to Ride
Yeah, you got it. You have it. You own it.
thing. We will figure out how. There we go.
Congratulations.
Look at that.
Well done. And this is widely available.
If somebody hasn't played Ticket to Ride,
Yeah.
what
Which is
games do you
possible.
think would be somewhat similar that they might lead them to think they should play Ticket to Ride?
Well,
Other
it's-
than if they just have some non-gamer friends that they want to get in.
Sure. It actually takes a lot of its foundation from like Rummy.
Mm-hmm.
You're collecting sets of cards to play them down to be able to fulfill the routes. And so really straightforward card selection, collecting, and the map portion. I mean, there's other games like Trans America, but unfortunately, a lot of games you compare to Ticket to Ride. So if they just haven't heard it in the store, we usually go all the way back to Rummy, those kind of
Okay.
things that like
Well,
make it
'cause
a little more generic for.
Just because I imagine that we
Casual
have a
gamers.
lot of games now that are pretty accessible for newcomers.
Yes.
So people may have come in with like Splendor.
Yeah, oh,
and
yeah.
then like where do they go from there? And like
Right.
Ticket to Ride is another very good kind of first step game.
Right.
It's also worth noting that if anybody is kind of getting people into games, Ticket to Ride having a bunch of expansions
Yeah.
that don't particularly complicate the base game
Yeah.
Occurs to me as another way to kind of educate and get newer board game fans on board with how some of board games tend to release.
Yep.
Where you have the base game and you have the expansion and
Yep.
your game kind of grows from there.
Yep. And there are not too many rules to pick up on, which is nice. We teach people all the time in the store, so it's real straightforward.
Great. What would you like to cover next? And then we'll probably maybe have another poll go up.
Should we do the other train game that I brought you?
Sure, we'll stick on the train theme.
MetroX. Have you played this?
No.
So it was a older release as well from I actually don't remember which company.
Game Right?
In Japan.
Oh,
No.
okay.
It was at Tokyo Game Market. Got a lot of buzz there, but only locally. And Game Right picked it up, which is kind of neat. It is a flip and write, and it is a subway system map of connector routes, and you will have a dry erase marker to write on those. And we pull those cards out there.
So there are two
There's
different
two sides, yeah, front and
okay, I
back.
see what it is.
So
I get
each
it.
player has the same one when you play
Okay.
each game. And there's some number cards. The colors don't matter, but they will help indicate what kind of card it is. The numbers are what are important.
Okay.
And whenever you have a number, you will write that number in the train part. This is the harder one. The train that belongs to a certain color of a route. And from there, you will then mark that many X's out on that route. And you are trying to reach the terminus of that color line with a continuous line of X's.
Sure.
But you'll note there's only so many spaces in each train car. So you're going to need to utilize some of the overlapping capabilities of the different routes. And the X's from the blue line can be used to help you fulfill the purple line, so you can save on some space. However, it also creates complications because when there's an X and you write a 4, you don't just jump over that X. You can only go as far as there is until there reaches another mark.
Sure.
So with a 4, you would actually only get to go one space, wasting a whole 3 X's. It's a neat little puzzle challenge. We've been playing it like crazy at lunch, and I think Game Right has sold very well with these.
Good.
So
Well, and one of our employees at Gen Con, Marion, on the event team, really loves roll and writes. So we'll have to see if she has heard of this one yet.
Yeah.
It reminds me a little bit of the other Japanese kind of flip and write that I played, which Let's Make a Bus Route.
Oh, yep.
It has some of that same kind of very cute graphic design,
Yep.
But seems like a much simpler game.
Yes. No. Yeah. It's very straightforward. It takes very little time to explain.
Cool.
Like Rolling America, which actually started out as Rolling Japan. That was,
So it's full circle.
Roll and write, yeah, sure. So, but yeah, MetroX, it's been a lot of fun.
Very cute. So, recommended for fans of roll and writes.
Oh yeah.
But it sounds like it's simple enough for somebody who hasn't played roll and write or flip and draw. This might be a good first one.
Yeah. The other one that Game Right has that they do well with, that we do well with, is Quicks. I think a lot of people can go into that one intro level without knowing anything else. They're aiming for the same one with this. It's not quite as small and compact, but I do like that they went with the dry erase, which of course, you know, you can replace the markers.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, I think that's all my train games.
Okay. Well, so far, I think at least one person in chat likes both train games and roll and write games.
Awesome.
So they seem pretty well covered.
Fantastic. What should we talk about next?
Next is Yeti.
Oh, yeah. So, this is from the same people that did Moonbase and Tokyo Highway.
So it's going to be cute, adorable, and clearly small.
It's very small. It's called Yeti in the House. And
Train friend.
Well, we just finished the train games. They were like celebrating.
Yep.
That's great. This one is a game where you play with a group. One person is going to have to hide the Yeti, and then the search party is going to try to find the Yeti.
And that is, you have done
I have
that
hid
part.
this Yeti already in this lovely room, and you're going to try to find the Yeti.
You've hid it all Yeti?
I hid it already, Al Yeti. Nice. The mountain is, you can see the Yeti from the mountain, so you establish a point of reference for the search party, so they don't have to wander through the whole house. But from this mountain point, you sitting
We're
here.
in a big studio.
Yes, it's true. I
Okay.
hid it this direction.
Okay,
People on
yep.
the camera may also be able to see where the Yeti is. There's also 2 footprints that the Yeti has left behind that sort of look like Yetis.
Do I have to find the footprints?
You have to find the Yeti and not the footprints.
Okay,
The
and
footprints are to mislead you.
So it's great because I've never seen these footprints or this Yeti.
That's correct. But the Yeti is about half the size of this mountain, and the footprints are about a quarter the size of that mountain. And from here, you would have to look. Now, in the game itself, I would actually have taken a picture of this Yeti, and I would now show you a blurry, crappy picture of this Yeti. But it's
Is
really
he
just
doing this?
Yes, it's him doing
Perfect.
that. It's like a Sasquatch.
It's a very Pacific Northwest game.
Oh yes, we could translate it as the Sasquatch game.
So, am I allowed to get up and look around?
No, you gotta kind of look around. You can see it from here. You don't need to get up. It's visible from where you are sitting.
So I think I have seen one footprint. I'm guessing. So I think the Yeti is right there.
Oh, look, you found
Look at
him. Good job.
Is that a footprint?
Yes, there's a
He is
footprint there. and-
Big. That's more snow angel than footprint.
Yeah, it's,
Where's the other footprint?
it's a little bit harder, but maybe also with its mushroom friends. So looking like part mushroom. I can see it from here, but maybe you can't from your angle. I don't know.
I'm gonna
It's
go with.
possible, but you aren't
Oh, no.
supposed
Is it
to
right
find.
there?
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Well done, well done. Wasn't that fun, everybody? But yes, you take a picture of it, you show the search party, they have to find it, they have to say the location of the Yeti, and...
Mushroom Kingdom.
That's right. Mushroom Kingdom number 3. I will say that we also have now imported this just this week to the store, so we have lots of copies. We've also been playing it as a staff. Hiding this Yeti throughout the store, which we haven't had customers be like, what's this Yeti? But they're well hidden, and every now and then someone will be like, there's a Yeti over there.
This reminds me of a game that my group of friends would play. Do you remember Dreamblade?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
but
So do you
barely.
remember how weird some of those minis were?
Yes, they're really
so,
cool.
A bunch of my friends had those minis left over, and there was one in particular that they would take and leave at a friend's house.
Okay,
And
yep.
they would just hide it in somewhere in their house, and when they found it, they would then have to take it and
Yes.
hide it at somebody else's house. So this is like the small off-the-shelf version of that.
Right, exactly. Or the monkey at Trader Joe's.
All right. Well, that is Yeti
In the house.
in the house. Yeti in the house. Okay.
There's another little small one.
don't
about
forget to take the
Nessie.
Yeti.
Oh yeah, I know,
Okay.
right? I'll leave it like half open.
All right.
Like this. Over here. Okay.
That is something. What next?
I just threw that one in. It was like a little bonus.
Like this, it's too cute. Like, how is anything else going to measure up to that?
It's pretty sweet. Although the fast sloths is pretty adorable. We could move on
Fast
to
sloths?
the other adorable
Okay.
fast sloths. It's right there, the green one. You got it.
Oh, okay. It was just so big.
Yes, you can't even see these cute, adorable sloths. It's a pick up and deliver game, but what it's picking up and delivering is you, the sloth. So the premise of this is you are sloths. There's two double-sided boards that you can mix and match, so you have 4 different setups.
Okay.
And the very first game you play, they give you like detailed instructions on which animals to use and where to start with. But
Okay.
from then on out, it's done a little more like a draft when players know where to put things.
Sure.
And then you have your character, which is a sloth, here in this little bag. They're quite tiny. They're the ones with the stickers, with a tiny picture of a tiny little sloth. So, yep, there you go. Oh, how cute. And they're colored leaves. Those leaves are going to go out on the board, and you, the sloth, are very hungry, and you are going to need to go eat those leaves, and the first person to get all their leaves wins.
Okay.
Now, you can't really move very fast because you're a sloth.
But you're a fast sloth.
Well, you are going to be fast because you're going to piggyback on all the other animals.
Oh, okay.
So when you play, you might play with the donkeys, the alligators, the giraffes, and the unicorn.
I was about to say there's unicorns.
There is a unicorn. And these animals will be out on the board, and they have different ways of moving you.
There's also marathon runners.
Yep, there's a human, and they go to the resorts. Sloth can piggyback on the little human. You don't play with all the animals every time. You play with 6 out of the 12.
There's a very American bald eagle.
Yeah, that eagle's great. It will pick you up and fly you across different landscapes. Some of the animals don't like to cross the water, like this donkey's afraid of water. So when you're with the donkey, he can only go so far. The alligator or the crocodile is only going to stay in the river or at one space out on the banks of the river.
Okay.
The unicorn, he's very magical. He doesn't want to go through the forest because then other animals can't see and admire his beauty.
Okay.
And also will not go very fast because if he's moving too fast, you can't look at him.
Narcissus, the unicorn?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, great.
The ants are kind of neat. There's
They go marching
more
one
of
by
them.
one.
There's 10 of them, and if you line them up, your one movement point will start you at the chain at the beginning and move you all the way to the end.
Okay.
They
So
all
there's-
have
there's-
different ways of moving.
There's eagle, human, ants, unicorn, alligator, orangutan, mule, dolphin,
bunnies,
bunnies,
mountain goats that like the mountain spaces.
Okay. Elephant.
And
right.
the elephants are a bit slow, but they have trunks, and they can throw you 3 spaces away when they're done walking.
Okay.
So, you're ultimately just trying to race around the board. It really is not points based. It's whoever can get their leaves first.
So it is literally a sloth racing game.
Yeah, a little bit of deck. You like gather the cards that you need to play. But yes, it's a.
That is very cute.
It is maybe not as cute as the Yeti, but it's pretty stinking
How
cute.
complicated is it?
It's
Like,
not
is this
very
a
complicated.
kid's game? Is it a family
You
game?
know,
Is it a
Definitely family game, but it's more like Niagara or Finca or some of those family pick up and delivers. It's a little bit retro. Something more recent, Amanda. But I would say Gateway. We played it as a bunch of adults, had a ton of a blast. It's but it can be definitely a family game.
Great.
Out from Stronghold Games now. I think they're doing well,
Was
selling
it
it
out?
out at Dice West, Tower West. We just
Okay.
got it in this
Got it.
week. So it's
So they had it at a couple big cons, but this is the retail release now?
Yep. So, which is exciting.
Was it on Kickstarter for a while? I think it might have been. I have I really want to say that they came out with a coloring book for it. I don't know.
Oh, yes, that's possible. I mean, it released at Essen, so it was there. They may have had that as a promo there.
Maybe.
Freeman Free Screen starts with an F. All those boxes have been ticked.
All right. Looks like Nova Luna is the next one.
Because it's awesome. Have you played?
I have not.
Awesome. I love telling you and introducing you to awesome things such as Nova Luna.
It's another box with art and color on the inside. I like this trend as far as I'm noticing. More companies do it.
So this is also from Stronghold Games here in the States. It is Uwe Rosenberg's next light, puzzly abstract strategy family game, adult game, strategy game, like Patchwork.
Okay.
But it's multiplayer.
Okay.
So you don't need, oh, there you go. You don't need just 2 people. You can even do it solo. I haven't done that yet. But with this one, it's using the same mechanic for choosing your tiles, like Patchwork. You can take anything in the next 3 from where the moon tile is, and whoever is in last place gets to go and keep going until they're no longer in last place, just like Patchwork. But then
kind of like Takedo too.
Yes, yes, yeah. There's no catch up like Takedo. You just keep going around that circle.
Sure.
And the difference here then is when you take your tiles. So these are different colored tiles that have different little things that can
Different
give
patterns.
you
Okay.
a place to put your token.
Got it.
Now, also, kind of like that last game, it's a race. With this one, you're trying to place all of your little tokens before the other players. And
Got
you
it.
do so whenever you meet the requirements of one of the circles on your board. You never have to finish all of these.
So is this basically going to be, because there's no player boards,
Nope.
this is just filled up and you're building a tableau of these in front of you?
Correct.
And then you're putting your tokens on here to get them out of your supply.
As soon as you match the patterns on them when they surround your tile.
Got it.
The numbers on them are not points. They're like Patchwork. That's how far you move your piece when you take the tile. So
Okay.
a more expensive tile is going to have easier to complete objectives. Much slower movement tile isn't going to, well, that one's going to give you no objectives, but
Well, so like this one here.
it's a little bit harder to do
Yeah,
that
so
one.
this one here, just so we can talk about the pattern, there's 4 blue and 2 blue. How do I make that pattern?
So as soon as you have a blue on this side and a dark blue on this side, you would complete this pattern.
Okay.
And when you do this one, it would be on all sides. Now, there is an exception to help you, obviously, because as you build up, it's going to be getting harder and harder to fill.
Sure.
Things of the same color can chain out.
Okay.
So you can't connect to make that pattern if it's diagonal unless you have a blue one here and then you put another blue one here or here. That would be considered complete. They have to
Okay.
be the same color, but they can chain out. And you can also start to fill up and complete ones that you placed earlier. You have to kind of pay attention to make sure you haven't been completing any of your previously placed tiles because you're racing to get rid of all of your little tokens.
Cool. So it's you're just kind of building a tableau puzzle
Yep.
to try to place these tiles to just expend your resources quickly.
Yes.
Sounds,
And
it
the
sounds pretty straightforward.
Yeah, it is really straightforward. It's great. I've played it a few times. I think it's very engaging and puzzly. I like it. The spite level is pretty low. However, you can see pretty obviously like, oh, so-and-so wants a red tile, and people are playing with was kind of struggling in their first game and did what you did and just started taking every tile I wanted, I'm pretty sure. So, not probably high on spite, but yeah. Yeah, it's pretty to look at. It's
So
fun.
other than Patchwork, are there any other games that you would say it's similar to?
I mean, the Azul family.
Oh, yeah,
It's kind of
yeah.
got that abstract strategy. It's going to appeal to people who don't want a lot of theme in their game, but they just want the strategy and the puzzle of it. And you know, the Splendors, that kind of level, things to think about. A race game.
So you had mentioned that it can do up to 4 players, and you can play it solo.
Which I haven't done, so I don't.
But is it good at 2, or does it really need?
I played it 3 and 4.
Okay.
So I don't know. I'm assuming I think it'd be just fine because
Okay.
it's really you can only move it so far, and you can only, because you're the last player. You're always kind of wanting to be in that same thought
Sure.
of the game. So
Cool.
once the empty spaces are there, you can it'll jump around.
Yeah, I think actually the back of the box there does a pretty good job of kind of showing what that tableau is going to be like. So hopefully that shows up on camera, or if people look it up online, they'll see it.
Yeah,
Great.
that's a good one.
So I think that leaves just Coloma.
Yes. Now this is not super new. I mean, it released at Essen, sort of like that. It actually came out here pretty quick after that. But I noticed on your spreadsheet for this show, no one had done it yet, and it's worth taking a look at.
Okay. Well, tell us why.
It is a...
Is it because of the little barrel tokens?
The barrel tokens are pretty fun.
It's because of the minecart token.
The minecart token is pretty cool, but really, it's about the interactive wheel on the main board where you are going to be choosing your actions simultaneously.
Yeah. You can slide it under a little bit.
Okay, I'm gonna flip it out and turn it around.
Okay.
Ah,
By our powers combined.
ta-da! It's another big one. But you're going to be choosing your actions out on here. Everybody chooses which space they want to go in secretly, a la...
Tiny little horse meeples.
Oh yeah, no, there's some great bits in here. The wagons are pretty cool. The tents are pretty cool.
All right, so if you're the kind of person who likes to play with tiny meeples, get this game.
Yes. And where I need to find this one piece in here.
This wheel?
This thing. This attaches to your board with a magnet.
Oh, look at that.
Wait for it. It's so
okay.
cool.
We've
There's actually one more piece
magnet.
that goes on it, but I don't know if I'll find it. It goes on top of there and is also a magnet, and it's going to rotate around, changing things up as the game goes on.
Okay.
Whee. That was really nice. It
I'll keep
works
digging at
pretty
pieces.
elegantly. But the fun of it is in choosing where you're going to go. Where, if too many people choose the same space, that space busts, and you get to do only half the actions. It's not as valuable. It has some little mini game elements, like I don't know, like Gugong or even the village a little bit. In that you can lose some of your people in the shootout if they're not there to help protect against the outlaws. They might get put 6 feet under.
Okay.
There's places
some
for
wagon
your
trains.
yes, the wagons to move around here. It's not really like a journey that you're going on so much as like you're jumping around everywhere trying to snag the little benefits.
So the journey is on the inside. It's your emotional
Sure.
introspection.
Yeah, you've got bridges that are going to go over your water, the rivers that are on your individual player boards, which are all got different goals that you're going for. The mechanics are run a little bit with a deck. You have we all have the same deck of cards, the buildings that you can build. They're gonna kind of give you extra benefits and bonuses, things that you can do from the different locations.
There are a lot of pieces.
There are a lot of pieces and a lot of fun things like.
Why is there a tiny horse and a big horse?
So there's some variants to the game.
Okay.
I didn't actually even play with those.
Okay.
They're I think a solo variant and a. I didn't remember, but yeah. So you don't always use all the components in the box, which was kind of neat.
Sure.
It's fairly simultaneous action. You will need to take turns.
Not a ton of downtime.
You will need to take turns on some elements of it, but there's a lot of things that you can be doing at the same time, especially once you're more experienced players, which was nice. It's not overly long. I would say probably an hour and a half. I mean, it's not short.
Wow, an hour and a half for all these pieces is surprising.
Yeah, exactly. It's not short. It's not half an hour, but it's got some meat and some bones.
These twisty wheels suggest there's some element of deciding a
Yes,
thing.
that was the wheel one here where
Got
they're
it.
numbered, and you are all going to choose where you want to go simultaneously, and then
Okay.
you reveal, and that way you can't just change your mind when you see, oh,
Got it.
everyone's going to 5.
That's how the busting happens.
Correct. I
hear that
recall
busting
that
makes
from
you feel good.
El Grande, I think, was long. I think they had a wheel like that. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I played that game, but. Yeah, so there's gold, which are points
Hey,
and money.
look what I found.
Hey, there you go, and I can add it. It'll be so fun and satisfying. Oh, yes.
And more cards.
Some variants solo, as well as the hotels, which is a variant.
So there's a lot going on here.
Yes, yeah. But
Okay.
ultimately, like once I knew the rules, I was like, oh, so you go there, you're going to be able to get some resources to money to build your cards, or you're going to go on a wagon journey to get more people to do more work for you. You're going to send your gunmen out to fight the outlaws. Yeah.
Cool.
I thought it was neat. It's a larger group game.
Okay.
I-
Because it
I
looks like, what,
did
there's
try
7,
the
6?
solo, and
Yeah, so
Not-
six players, right?
That's fun. Solo.
Okay.
Yeah, 6 players.
So you didn't enjoy like the solo? I presume has like an AI deck.
Yes, and they go out and and they're just, I don't know. Maybe it was just because I was really bad at it, but I lost by like.
Oh, so you didn't like it because it whooped you, not
Like-
because it was boring?
It was different. I think the fun of the game is in the interaction and choosing the wheel and like
Okay.
who's gonna go fight the outlaws and you're in my way over here. So with 2, it was more like this puzzly thing, which was different.
Yeah, I think a lot
And it was hard.
Okay.
Which is like, I mean, hard is good. You don't want to win right away, obviously, but you also want to know
of why you
how
lost.
the AI is getting so many points. But I mean, again, I've played.
But so you felt like
Very few times.
you felt like the solo game was very, very different from the main game.
Yeah.
So like, because a lot of times
The
you
fun of it is-
might think that a solo game is a good way to learn the main game.
Learn
Do you feel they're different
how
enough?
they
Okay.
operate.
Okay.
Yes, so you can still learn the rules, but you won't understand the fun of the selection of the types of
Okay.
actions. So, yeah. Thank you for putting it all away so nicely.
Well, I mean, I had so much fun taking it all out, and now we figure out how to
yes,
fit
it's,
it all back.
I'm sure there's a placement for everything, although it is going into our public library, which
Yep.
sure everyone always has the best intentions to put
I do.
everything away.
I do.
Always.
I feel like
sure
there's a
everyone
better
is
way
like
to put
you.
this away, but I don't know what
It's
it
okay.
is.
You can just kind of dump those in there.
At this point, I'm beginning to think that any game that is complicated and has lots of little bits needs to give me like a YouTube video that shows where these things are supposed to go.
There probably is a YouTube video of how to put this away. That's what
Did we drop a thing or did you save it? I think you saved it.
I saved it. We'll look later. I won't leave without looking.
Okay. That and the Yeti.
And the Yeti. I won't forget the Yeti because you gotta
No.
have him in the store to play
Leave no
in the store.
meeples behind.
That's right. Well, that's all I brought.
Well, thank you.
Oh, I will say one thing that I wanted to bring to show, because it's also from Itten, but I thought that was A, too many Itten games, and B, can't set up here, is we do have copies once the Kickstarter fulfills, which I have to check on that, of that Stonehenge in the Sun game where you attach
Oh, yeah.
the thing to the ceiling
Yep.
and it drops down. Obviously,
You have the
couldn't really.
pendulum?
So
So,
we.
would you say that you are smitten with Itten?
Oh, 100%. I'm a fan. I'm like I will talk about their games all the time.
All right. Yeah, the Stonehenge one definitely looks very interesting.
Yeah, it is cool.
So, thank you very much for bringing all the games
Yeah.
out. Is there anything else that you want to say about yourself or the store? Or did you kind of cover it at the beginning, I think?
No, yeah, just thank you for having us
Great.
to talk about some games.
Well, thanks again to Blue Highway for sending you out and for bringing out all the games. There's a very adorable selection and very pretty selection this week, I think.
Yeah, so.
Keep in mind that if you wanted links to more of these, or if you didn't catch all of them, the video on demand will be up. It'll be up on YouTube tomorrow. But we also have a blog post that's going out and a newsletter that goes out each week now. So I think there's links to that in chat shortly, so you can sign up for that if you want to just get a notice of what what we have covered each week, so you can browse that while you're at work, or if you don't have a chance to watch the videos, basically. And don't forget the rest of the shows that we have on our channel. So remember to follow, turn on notifications. You can certainly subscribe if you would like. Follow our YouTube channel as well, because everything will eventually go up on there. But our schedule is on Monday nights. We have board games with the Brothers Murph, where they're going to sit down and play something fun. I don't know if you've watched them yet.
Yeah, a couple.
I was about to say, you
Good.
laughed, so clearly
Yes,
you've watched
yeah,
the
yeah.
Brothers Murph. Did you know they have a new show on Wednesday morning?
No, I did not
They
know
they
that.
do.
Tell me about it.
It's minis with the Murphs.
Oh,
They paint minis, and one of them has some experience. The other is very new at it.
Okay.
So they're kind of trying to teach each other, bring people kind of up, show
That's
some
fun.
basic skills and stuff like that. They're picking a bunch of board game minis. I think they're doing some Warhammer right now, but they're going to kind of go back and forth between all the different kinds. And so there's so many board games now that have minis that letting kind of other people learn how to paint is really great.
That's great.
So then on Wednesdays at 4 p.m., we have Fireside with Peter Atkinson, and he's going through the history of 3rd edition D&D now. So we're bringing in guests. I think they just had
sweet.
Todd Lockwood, the artist, on this past week.
Yeah.
And Wednesday nights at 6:30 is Westgate Irregulars, which is a group of local authors who get together and play D&D. And then on Fridays, we obviously have table takes at 11 a.m. We have new release rundown at about 12:30ish. And did you know we also have another game night on Fridays now too? Fridays at 6 p.m. we have a game night. We rotate through players and games. We've been doing Alien RPG the past couple of weeks.
Okay.
Eventually, we will be inviting folks like you who've joined us in other shows to come join us.
Fun.
So maybe we will have a board game night with you. Maybe we'll see what kind of RPGs you like to play.
That'd be fun.
And that's about it for today. But again, thank you everybody for joining us. Make sure to come back for Alien tonight. A lot happened last time. Javion lit Marcus on fire and kicked him at an alien. So we will see how well that works out for anybody involved. Thank you, everybody. We will see you later.